Good morning. My name is Daniel Campson, and I am the Assistant Director for International and Off-Campus Education at Lafayette College. Welcome to Family Weekend. Every year I give this presentation, and really it's always one of my favorite presentations to give because it's really great to see students and parents kind of in a more relaxed and casual atmosphere than we do every day at the college. While this presentation today is virtual, I really hope that at some point I'll be able to meet you and your students and really kind of work through a great and impactful study abroad experience. For the next 10 minutes, maybe 15, I'm going to talk a little bit about off-campus study at Lafayette, what types of experiences are available, and how to kind of move forward and start to think about what the best fit might be. So, off-campus study at Lafayette. At Lafayette, there are about 430 students who study off campus each year, which puts us among the top 20 institutions in our category in the official Open Doors report. Open Doors report is a yearly report that just kind of focuses on study abroad numbers at institutions throughout the United States. So being in the top 20 is really impressive. It's actually one of the reasons why I was really interested in working here a few years ago. The college in general really supports study abroad. Approximately 60 to 65% of students have some sort of off-campus experience before they graduate. This could be a semester-long study abroad experience, it could be a year-long experience, or it could be a 3 to 6 week experience. At Lafayette, we offer all of these things. It's also important to point out, as you might notice, we kind of use the term off-campus study. Sometimes I'll say study abroad. Sometimes they're used interchangeably, but really we try to use off-campus study because off-campus study includes both international and domestic programs, and we offer both of those. Of course, we offer many more international options than domestic ones, but every year we do send quite a few students on domestic programs to places like Los Angeles, New York City, even though it's so close, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Denver, so on and so forth. So that's just a little bit of an overview of what study abroad looks like at Lafayette. There are a number of different types of opportunities that we offer. Short-term opportunities include mostly interim programs, and these are faculty-led study abroad opportunities. They usually last between 3 and 8 weeks. They usually occur in either January or the summer. The January programs are always about 3 weeks, but the summer programs can vary in lengths and be up to 8. Each year, destinations vary, especially with the current situation we're in with the coronavirus. Programs are getting moved around and shuffled, so every year they can be very different. Generally speaking, registration happens in September, but for this year, registration, because we're only offering summer courses this year, registration is being pushed back into January. So if you're sitting here right now and thinking, boy, I really would have wished I would have registered and been able to do a summer program this year, you're still able to do that. Registration happens through Banner, and it's done in the same manner as normal course registration at Lafayette. These programs, it's important to note, cost extra. They're not included in your Lafayette tuition, but there is a dedicated financial aid pool for these programs, and it is fairly generous. Also of note, if you are a Marquis Scholar and you receive the $4,000 award towards one interim program, this is probably where you're going to use it. There are some other options for using that award, but this is really the intent of the award, to use it on a Lafayette interim program. So beyond interim programs, we also at Lafayette do have, from time to time, community-based projects. These are faculty-led, usually not for credit, but do provide a really interesting international experience. The one that you'll probably hear the most about is something called LIME, where students are nominated by faculty and they end up in Madagascar mentoring students. It's a really interesting program. You'll probably hear more about it while you're at the college. There are also student-led community-based projects, things like Engineers Without Borders, Alternative School Break. These are also really excellent opportunities. They're run in conjunction with our office, but again, they're not for credit. What our office really likes to focus on are longer term study abroad programs. And what we really consider longer term is a semester or greater. And of this type of program, we offer really two different types. We offer semester long faculty led programs, and we offer semester or year long programs with third party providers. In terms of the faculty led programs that we offer, we really kind of build them on a signature Lafayette model where you're studying abroad with a Lafayette faculty member, with Lafayette students, and kind of continuing in the spirit of the Lafayette experience. Small class sizes, lots of class discussion, a number of different experiential things that kind of round out the experience, excursions, things like that. These programs are offered in 4 different places. 2 of them are open to anybody: London, England, and San Jose, Costa Rica. These occur in the fall every year. 2 of the other options are not open to everybody: Madrid, Spain, and Bonn, Germany. These are for engineers. Lafayette, if there are any engineering students or parents in the presentation, is well known for its engineering programs. And one of the reasons it's well known is because we facilitate engineers studying abroad. A lot of schools don't allow it. A lot of schools don't work to facilitate it. We do. And that's why these 2 programs exist. So if you're an engineer in the room, these are really good choices, but they're not the only choices. If you're thinking about going somewhere else, please come and speak with us and we can help you out. The Lafayette programs have a number of advantages. As I mentioned, there's a Lafayette resident director. Usually it's a faculty member. There's a strong partnership with local institutions, so you can get into the kinds of classes you want and really get involved at the university. Generally, there's a competitive cost benefit. The cost is approximately the same as a Lafayette semester, but the cost always includes a number of excursions, it includes room and board, and it includes your plane ticket. A really nice benefit that most other programs don't have. So that's a little bit about the Lafayette semester-long faculty-led programs. I would say that probably 20 to 30% of students who study abroad for a semester at Lafayette participate in this type of a program. The type of program that I would say is a little bit more well attended are our third-party provider programs. These are so well attended because we're able to offer a number of programs in a number of different countries. We have a number of different stats about what we offer, and there's a lot of different ways to count the programs. But depending on how you count them, anywhere between 150 and 250 programs are on offer at any given time. And in about 60 different countries or so are available. Really, any level of language or any major can find a program. You don't need to study in a country where you speak the language. If you want to study in Poland, you certainly don't need to know Polish. But if you do know Polish, we could probably help you find something in Poland that would be a really good fit for working on that. Any major, we have some programs that focus on STEM, we have programs that focus on pre-health, we have programs where you have access to a large university's entire course catalog where you can really take anything. So it's important to note that, again, this kind of falls in line with the fact that Lafayette, the faculty and the administration really support study abroad. We want you to go. We want you to have a great experience. In order to study abroad, you need to have a minimum 2.8 GPA and a clean disciplinary record. The next slide will talk a little bit more about that in the section on requirements. It's important to note when you study abroad that credits and grades transfer back to Lafayette. If you have friends or siblings at other institutions, it can be different. It's generally not the norm in the field that grades will transfer back, but that's how we do it because we really want the study abroad experience to be an academic one. It's not a party, it's not a time to go relax. It's really a time to, engage cross-culturally, have a really transformative experience, but still an academic one. Costs do vary when you study abroad. Oftentimes they vary in a positive way. Students will often find that room and board expenses are a little cheaper abroad than they are here on campus, and they may save some money studying abroad. On the other hand, students may choose to study somewhere like Oxford or Cambridge where costs are much, much higher. Basically, the way the financial model works is you pay Lafayette tuition when you study abroad, and you pay room and board at the rate that the host program charges. Financial aid travels with students, with the exception of RA benefits and work study hours. It's also important to note that most of our programs also offer their own financial aid, and our students have been very successful in receiving that aid over the years. So the study abroad experience really is affordable. It should be no more expensive than being on campus, and it can be far less expensive than being on campus. And again, it just kind of underscores how the college really supports this type of experience for our students. You want to think when you're, a first year, second year student about the requirements you'll need to meet in order to study abroad. I talked earlier about the 2.8 GPA minimum. This is for semester long programs. It doesn't apply to interim programs. Interim programs are treated more like a registration, so there's no GPA requirement for interim programs. For both types of programs, however, there is a disciplinary requirement. You can't be on DP1 or DP2, and you can't be on academic probation. And I'll just say right now, especially for second year students, parents in the room, if you or your student has a GPA below 2.8, if you or your student is on one of these probation levels, it doesn't mean you absolutely can't study abroad. It just means that you should come and talk to me about it. There are some procedures we have to kind of move through this and allow students to still have these experiences. At this point, I would say that it's really important, especially in these kinds of uncertain times, to start planning your study abroad experience at least a year before going, preferably 16 to 18 months, I would say. Passport processing times are taking longer, visa processing times are taking longer. And I think that a 16 to 18 month buffer is probably a really good buffer for making sure that you'll be able to get everything done before you go. One thing to know, whether you're a parent or a student, we do have mandatory get started sessions and mandatory one-on-one advising sessions. So anybody who studies abroad has to attend a get started session. Usually these are offered 3 times a week at the beginning of both semesters, and then they kind of dwindle to 2 and then 1 time a week as the semester moves on. We also do mandatory one-on-one advising. And that's a great time to kind of really try to find the best fit program. Most of that advising is with me. I have a couple of colleagues who also do some advising. The best way to make an appointment is to either email me at the email address you'll see at the end of this presentation, or to go onto our Study Abroad website, click on the staff button, and there you will see an electronic appointment scheduler. Along with meeting with our office and attending our Get Started session, it's always important to work closely with your academic advisors. They are going to know kind of what you need to take, when you need to take it, maybe when the best semester to go or not go is, which kinds of classes can be brought back to the college easier, which ones are more difficult, that sort of thing. One other thing to just kind of have in mind right now, application deadlines. For the faculty-led Lafayette programs, the fall programs, the deadline is in early or mid-February. The spring programs also have an early mid-February deadline, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it does because we have to plan the programs, and the engineering programs especially take a lot of planning. So if you're thinking about the Lafayette programs in the fall or the spring, you're going to want to think about the mid-February deadline. If you're considering one of our provider programs, October 1st is the deadline for spring. We just passed it, as you can see. It's October 3rd today, as this presentation is airing. But if someone sees this presentation and they think, my goodness, I really want to study abroad this upcoming spring, reach out right after this presentation, reach out on Monday, and then we can talk about it. For fall, the deadline is March 1st, so you've got plenty of time for that. And so really, that's all I wanted to get across today. I've talked for 14 or 15 minutes, and that's enough. I'm glad everyone was here, and I think really the next thing to do is to visit our website, select different options, take a look at our programs. We do have a section for parents or guardians that kind of talks about the things that'll happen to your students while they're studying abroad. A lot of times when parents call their students weekly or biweekly during a study abroad program, they start to think, wow, like my student sounds a little different. What's going on? This section can help with that. If you have questions, we have a general email account, studyabroad at lafayette.edu. You can also email me directly, campsond at lafayette.edu. Right now, my office is in a house in Bethlehem Township, about 10 minutes or so from campus. But once we're back, which I hope is really soon, I'm in Pardee 125. We work Monday through Friday from about 9 until 4:30 or so. Um, and our office within the building is really close to the chapel. So I hope to see you. I hope to see your students. And I wish you a really great rest of your family weekend. Thank you.